Hello, hello, traveler of the internet! Welcome to this humble little upstart audioblog. My name is Byron, director of sorts of TheAlphaGeeks, and on behalf of the rest of the crew, I'd like to thank you ever so much for tuning in. Enjoy. So, now that we've got the pleasantries out of the way, let's get down to business. And we're gonna start today with what this is all about. For me, the most important thing about doing anything is understanding what the hell you're doing. I suppose that's not really that novel of an idea, but the fact remains that some people don't practice it still. I don't know why they don't practice it. It seems kind of stupid to me to act like a chicken running around with its head cut off. But, you know, them's the breaks, people do what they do, and I'm not going to be that way. So essentially the point of this audio blog is simply to develop a vision of the AlphaGeeks company that I would be happy with, personally. And also so that I can share these ideas with the people I'm working with, and they can give me feedback about, you know, what they think is good about what I'm thinking and what's bad about what I'm thinking, and so I can really figure out what it is that we're all collectively aiming at. And since I would have to do this anyway, I decided, well, might as well make some content out of it, I suppose. And that's how we got here. Anyway, I hope to do this at least once a week, but if, you know, we ever get to the point where our company is really taking off, perhaps I'll turn this into like a blog stream or something. I really do think that it's important that the top brass in a company has a direct line of access to the people who sustain their company itself. It's just a matter of information flow, I guess. I like to have that kind of information at hand. But I think most importantly, it helps me have something to look back on and remember what I was thinking about a while ago. And this is important because it will help me put things into perspective. Because, you know, things change. They change drastically, and it's really easy for a company to forget its roots. You know, like why it became popular to begin with. And personally, this fits right at home with me because I'm the kind of person who has an obsessive compulsion with writing down my own thoughts. I have like, hundreds of pages of notes that I've taken over the past, 5 years on my computer, and I really need to go through them, but you know, that's a story for another day. So, with that all out of the way, let's talk about the meat of the stuff that I want to talk about today, and that is the exciting growth of alternative media. Now, I've been watching this phenomenon for a number of years now, kind of just lurking in the background and not really saying anything about it, but it has been absolutely fascinating to watch the development of an online counterculture. And I really can't blame them for developing, because frankly, the people who are in charge of the megacorporations that produce and or distribute the majority of media in primarily English-speaking countries have demonstrated themselves to be totally inept when it comes to the internet and an understanding of digital media, how it works, how people relate to it, etc., etc., etc. And this inability has really come to a head in the culture war online. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics of the culture war, but suffice it to say that I too have been absolutely appalled by the practices of these major corporations and how they imagine themselves and their role in the digital space. So the reason why I'm really excited about the growth of alternative media is that we get a chance to kind of hit the reset button and shake things up a bit. I've always been a really big fan of the underdog story, and this would be one of the most interesting real-time underdog stories coming to life in reality. Scores major epic points for me. Unfortunately for me, it has been thoroughly demonstrated that there is a lack of competent leadership and execution to take the growing mass of displaced human capital and actually turn it into a competitive model to rival the giants in the industry. I mean, really all you have to do is look at the recent implosion of maker support to see why this is a problem, at least from the perspective of those in the counterculture. And this matters. It matters a lot, because until some serious alternatives come along, the giants are not going anywhere. It's just a fact of the situation. If there are no alternatives, there are no sanctuaries from the political nonsense these companies engage in. But all of that is even beside the point. You can argue, about the politics all you want. The fact of the matter also remains that these companies are not in it for the users. We've seen it again and again. The death of organic reach, the sale of private information, vague user agreements, and the subsequent application of double standards to the rules of the platform. Honestly, if I were trying to create a company with shitty customer service, I would just do what they're doing. At least there's some hope in platforms like Minds. The question I have is whether or not it can reach critical mass and ultimately overthrow the other platforms. I do like the general model that they're using, which is to provide a lot of kickbacks to the users. I just don't know if that's going to be enough to convince most ordinary users to make the switch. So I guess what they really need right now is new kinds of content creators on their platform. If people find that Minds is a place where they can get very specific content that's not as political and more aimed at a general audience, I think that will really help out the platform. So hopefully that's where we come in. Shameless plug. Moreover, I think that as a company, we could do more to help network and sustain these kinds of alternative media business endeavors. Provided that we had the capital, which at the moment we do not. That's a dream for the future. I guess the idea is that if we're going to be taking on the giants, small alliances make all the difference. That's a good way to put it. And with that, I think I'm going to end off for today. So, thanks for listening, if you stayed all the way to the end. Once again, this is Byron from TheAlphaGeeks, and I do hope you have a wonderful day. Peace!